Too many lives, 25 years of fewer, nothing.
Welcome back to the Marathon Mortgage Happy Hour. I'm Mike Witzak.
My name is Rory Farrell.
And today we have...
Ravi Gulivindala.
Hey!
Yo.
And who's Ravi with?
So I work with Keller Williams Real Estate.
Yeah. Keller Williams Bluebell. He's in the same moment. We've had Ronan on the podcast. We've had the Mike Merton team on the podcast. We've had Tom Hendel on the podcast. We've had a lot of agents from your office.
Yeah, Tara Bevino used to be with them. Michelle Parkhill used to be with them.
Yeah. So we've definitely very familiar with that office, and we're glad to have you on. So thanks for coming.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous day. It's a beautiful day to be out of the office a little bit.
Yeah, we won't podcast for too long. Get out of here. But yeah, so let's kind of jump into you. I know you have like a super rich background in real estate, and you've kicked off your career about a year or so ago. But I just wanted to bring you on and talk more about, number one, your career and how you've been doing in it, and then number two, like, how'd you get started with everything? How did this kind of all happen? Because you have an interesting story with that.
Oh yeah, I don't know it, so I'm interested to hear.
Yeah,
Great. So real estate's newer as an agent.
Yep.
But I grew up around real estate. It was originally my father's career.
Mm-hmm.
He was a broker with a company called Nest Seekers International.
Yeah.
He was working in Manhattan for 16 years.
Okay. And did he live up in Manhattan full time?
Yes.
And then you were down here in Chestnut Hill, right? That's where you grew up. Yeah. So were you like going back and forth a lot to go see him up in Manhattan, hang out and see what he does?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty okay. Cool. So he worked with Nest Seekers. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Nest Seekers is a luxury real estate brokerage in Manhattan,
Mm-hmm.
and they focus on big market properties.
Yeah.
They're an international brokerage overseas. His business was at an executive level.
Okay.
So it wasn't producing as an agent as much as it was working with agents to grow the company.
Okay.
He worked there up until 2024. He passed away in 2024.
Oh, gee.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry to hear
that's
that.
Appreciate it. For years, between 2008 and when I became licensed, the conversation was always to get in real estate.
Yeah.
So I was very active at the company growing up in an assistant capacity. I worked at 3 of the locations in Manhattan.
Okay.
Between the age of, a young age, high school, internships.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What an you hear internships. It's like most people are doing like boring stuff, but that's very cool. And not only in a cool industry, but in the biggest market, like the most exciting market you could possibly be in, really, in the States.
Yeah, so it's funny. Before 2008, he was never in real estate. Originally, he had a background in finance.
Okay.
My family on my father's side are immigrants from India.
Uh-huh.
They came over in 1975. My grandfather had a career in education. He was a lecturer, economics lecturer. And then he started his own hedge fund between 1987 to 2001.
Wow.
So that was New York City. They lived in Queens throughout that time. My father went to New York University for engineering.
Okay.
After that, he got into finance. He just loved working around my grandfather.
Yeah.
And he spent time working on Wall Street. He was an entrepreneur. He had a restaurant for some years in Manhattan. After the restaurant, he then went back to finance. Then he found Nest Seekers and started at Nest Seekers. It was a very small company in New York City. Midtown, it was on the 3rd floor of a burger restaurant. I'd walk in there. There was about 100 agents at the company around the time.
Wow.
That's still, that's big.
Yeah, today it's a much larger brokerage. There's
I'm sure.
a couple thousand agents internationally.
That's crazy. So he started like with them early
Yeah,
on
very,
there.
very early.
Yeah, wow.
He was working with the leadership from day one.
And then did he start off as an agent, or did he go right into like an executive level position to kind of help them grow?
Yeah, so he became licensed, and then naturally there was a need.
Okay.
And he was in conversations leading up to it, but basically he fit the need.
Interesting. So then, he does all that. Obviously, you're his son, so you're seeing a lot of this. You're seeing what he's doing. And this was in 2008, you said this happened?
Yeah, 2008, 2009. Really.
Okay.
He started working at the company in 2009, but we know at the time period, 2008, 2009 was very crazy in real estate.
Yeah, what a time to jump in.
Yeah.
And I joined real estate as an agent in 2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
Another
also-
crazy time. Yeah.
Another crazy time. Yeah, yeah. So you're like 10, 11 years old. You start seeing him get into this market. Then you're growing up with him growing in this company. And you said you started working there like as an intern. Kind of, what was your job doing that?
Yeah, so it was really fun, really unique experience. Sitting at the office, I was the only person under the age of 18.
Okay. Yeah.
I was able to talk to some top producing mega agents.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to sit at the front desk and just welcome people to the office, filing, mailers,
Yep.
lead generation, whatever I could do to contribute. If it was putting labels on the envelopes and mail the envelopes out, I just found joy in the experience.
Yeah.
So you just kind of, working the office, figuring out what people were doing, meet new people. First off,
If they needed water, coffee, or tea,
yeah, that was it. Anything you could do.
Just the grunt work, but also, what a value to be able to sit in that office and just observe and get that experience. That seems exciting now, like in hindsight. Was it exciting in the moment, or were you just like a young kid, like, oh, there's another job? Because that's probably how I would have looked at it.
my father's an inspiration to me growing up. I was very impressed by him. I wanted to be like my father. He had a charismatic element to him. And when you're growing a brokerage, a lot of it is who are you working with? And he was able to, instill trust in people. He was always available. He had joy in the process of trying to turn somebody and make him into something great. So naturally, I was his little project too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was coming into the office. He was like joking around saying that he was training me.
Yeah.
One of his responsibilities was the training program of agents that were coming in, entering into this market, or some of them for the first time.
Yeah.
A lot of real estate is that you're coming into your second career, third career.
A lot. Yeah, for sure. And you two are unique in that you started out early in your careers. Two careers that generally don't, bring in 22, 23, 24, 25-year-olds. Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't get into it until I was 30 something. And I had a career, multiple careers beforehand. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the more common path.
100%. No, I think it's, and to even go further with that, it's like, hopefully by the time we would be starting our second or third careers, we're still in this and we have our network of people we've grown.
You have a decade of experience over most people.
Yeah, 100%. Now this kind of goes to my next question, which would be, obviously I would assume it's a yes, but do you see a lot of the stuff that you learned then starting to transfer into your real estate business down here?
Yes. So for years and years, I was of the mindset that I would join that company and I would work New York City real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I had an offer from my father in college to come and work with him in New York. I turned it down because I wanted to, finish out college. I wanted to learn in a different environment, in a different industry, because for years leading up to that, it was all real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent a few years, different career paths, trying to figure it out. Real estate kept bringing me back. I've lived in Chestnut Hill, Philadelphia since 2008. Also went to Drexel University.
Sure.
So I was just, what's a better place to build your business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get contacts here. You get,
Yeah.
How often were you up with your dad in New York? Because that's not like an easy commute. It's not like you're going from Philly to Bucks County or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like, were you up there a couple days a week or on the weekends or like, and he was up there full time?
Yeah. So it's a little bit of everything. It was whenever I had an opportunity, take the bus.
You just took the bus up as a
take the
teenager.
Bus, take the train. Started at about 12 years old, taking the bus by myself up to New York.
Yeah.
I would take the Chestnut Hill West at 30th Street Station. 30th Street Station, take the mega bus to Midtown Manhattan, and then I would just take the B uptown to 60th Street, Columbus Circle, and then I'd walk to his apartment, go to the apartment, and get some dinner, and then the next morning he'd go to the West Side office, and then I'd go to the Midtown office, and I'd meet him at Midtown office around lunch, and then we'd get some lunch. He'd go to a different office on Fifth Avenue. I'd stay at the Madison Avenue office, and then after that, we'd meet up around like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then go get dinner somewhere.
Damn.
What a wild,
That's
like,
such
as
like
a young kid. Yeah. Like that's a New York City
Like,
kid story.
yeah.
Being from Philly, Chestnut Hill, like that's not normal for that, right?
Nah.
That's a true New York City kid experience.
Yeah. you're out there gritting it on your own. You know what I mean? Like nobody, there isn't no parent holding your hand. He's like, meet me at the Midtown office at 12. See you then. Bye. Just
That's
like,
exactly what it was.
yeah, it's
Here's
like,
some Subway money.
yeah, exactly.
Use this.
See you later. No, that's awesome. And I think, I mean, it definitely plays out a lot in your life, but being in that real estate career, seeing your dad do that and then getting into it down here, you know, there's a whole different level of a hustle up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a whole different level of hustle. So it's you bringing that mindset down here. It's just gonna pay dividends, no problem. My follow up question to that though was what did you study in college?
Business degree.
Okay. So you just went like general business, figure out what
business
career path you wanted to do, and then.
So I always had the mentality that at some point I was going to get into real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what state. I didn't know if it was going to be developing real estate, working with new construction or luxury or whatever market it was. 2023, I made the decision to become licensed in Pennsylvania while my father was actively working in New York.
Yep.
And that was very intentional. I could have called him up and said, hey, I want to work with you.
Yeah.
The reason for that was because I have family here. I have friends here. I love helping my community.
Yeah.
So the idea was to create my business here and then present it to him.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was actually, I became licensed throughout the entire process. He was not aware of it.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Yeah, he had no idea. And unfortunately, he then passed away the next day after becoming licensed.
Oh,
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. That's insane.
And you were able to tell him that though?
No.
You never got to tell him.
No.
Shoot.
God
Wow. I got like goosebumps.
damn. Yeah, that's awful.
Well, he knows, obviously.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's crazy. The events after finding out he passed away suddenly.
Yeah, it sounds like it, obviously.
Yeah, he was 52 years old.
Whoa.
Life's crazy. You got to take care of your health.
Yeah.
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 Very
100%.
crazy industry. He wasn't able to take care of his health like he needed to. But so the events afterwards was craziness. I call up his entire database pretty much. I call up his network of people, his coworkers, and then we have a big event, a big funeral. A lot of networking from there. So that was kind of my introduction into, hey, everybody, I'm finally licensed in real estate.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. That's heavy stuff. I don't even know how to like.
That's the heaviest moment we've ever had on the podcast.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. That's heavy. But no, I think it just it makes you. Somebody said to me the other day something on another heavy topic I was talking about. It really resonated with me, and I, maybe I'll do the same for you. But it's like, everything in life like that is kind of just jet fuel. And it's like, if your jet's fueled, it could take you down, or the jet could take you up. But it's all just kind of how you play it out. And it's like, from what you've told me about your father and what he kind of raised you to do and everything, it's like, it's unfortunate, it's horrible, and it's like a bad thing, but it's just going to motivate you to work harder and become successful and, make them proud. That's really, really what it comes down to. So, it's an awful situation, wish it never happened, but in that, hindsight, it'll pay off.
Yeah, and it's one of these things, like, life is unpredictable.
Yeah.
You never know what tomorrow has in store. You can only cherish today.
Yeah, I mean, and that's about the most heavy example of that you can
ever have.
Take, yeah.
But to switch to let's switch to a positive note here. Let's go from that to happy-go-lucky. Now, fast forward over a year now, you're pounding the pavement harder than any agent I've probably ever seen out here. So you're working open houses every weekend. You're calling 20 plus people a day, from my understanding, trying to have conversations in real estate. You're setting up first-time home buyer seminars. You just made your first, the first ever young networking?
Oh, so we're doing a solo agent mastermind at my office.
Yep.
Solo agent mastermind.
Yeah, so This was something that I participated in a program through Keller Williams called BOLD.
Yeah, I want to hear about this too, because that's how I kind of came into contact with you at that same time.
BOLD is a business objective life by design, and it's a business building workshop. It's a 6-week course where you have a coach, and there's a room full of 50, 100 plus realtors that are actively trying to build their business. Topics range from, lead generation to listing presentations to how to have conversations with people on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
The value of BOLD is I was getting very creative. One of the topics is you have homework. you have a responsibility of 20 conversations a day about real estate, and that's the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get out of your comfort zone, and you have to talk to people. You have to find creative ways. You can't just keep going through your phone book, your contacts.
So,
And I imagine that was hard to do.
It was very difficult.
Yeah. Was there days where you didn't get it?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And then those days that you did get it, you were probably like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like those got to be like the really exciting days to be like, I set this goal and I did it and learn from it. I'm sure, especially, probably even more so on the days that you didn't get it. You probably learned a lot.
Yeah, it's a learning experience. Being a brand new agent, everything's new. I've had a lot of experience in a different market with a different company in a different city with
A different time.
Everything's different. I'm a child at the time. I'm not an adult in real estate. So just becoming a licensed realtor, there's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot to learn. It's a process that takes time. So coming into this, my idea was to just build and grow at a fundamental level.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the concept of BOLD is. It's just the fundamentals of building a business in real estate. And then from there, it's on you to just follow through.
What do you think the biggest benefit of the BOLD was? Like if there's a new agent, they're especially a solo agent, and they're listening to this, like, do you recommend it and why? Like, what's the biggest thing you took away from it? And
yeah. So I'm not sponsored.
We're not getting paid.
Yeah, no, this is a program that you do pay for.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of value in it. And it's really, you get in what you put into it, or you get out what you put into it. The number one thing that I took away was you have to have conversations and you have to let people know that you work in real estate.
Yeah.
A lot of people get into real estate and they don't tell people that they work in real estate.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what we were just talking about off camera is like, social media is so important now, and we're just seeing it shift in our industry and your industry so hard. It's like, and really what's the point of that? Just to let people know at a grand scale that you do what you do. I'm so like, my name's Mortgage Mike. That's how people know. Yeah, people literally call you that on the street.
Yeah,
Mortgage Mike.
Yeah, people know I'm world famous as Mortgage Mike, No, but I mean, and the funny thing is, what people don't know is, so like on the side, I have a business I've ran for years. It's like auto detailing, right? I do that up north in the Poconos where I grew up. And it's recently been picking up a lot again, and I've been working it, but I never post it on my personal social media with like, that's Mortgage Mike. And I never I talk about it down here if people ask, but I don't detail cars down here. I don't advertise that I do it at all. Nothing, because like my persona and what I do is I want it to be mortgages. Like that's firsthand what I do. That's what I do 9 to 5. I would want to be successful enough that auto detailing is never a thing again. You know what I mean? Like I don't want that to be my full-time gig. So I separate those things because like you're saying, people get into real estate. They don't even advertise that they're in real estate. You're like, I thought you were a contractor. Like you have no idea what people do if they're not advertising it. So it's like, my name's Mortgage Mike and I stick with that and that's it, It's
good alliteration too.
Yeah. Just like you're going to be Ravi the realtor. So,
and this is a better way than just having to go through and call 350 people and let them know like, hey, I'm finally in real estate.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny. Like we've had Jeff Silva on, and he's had this he's been in this business forever, and I always go back to this. Like you got to do the new stuff, like the Instagram, the Facebook, and the TikTok, and all that. But you can't also forget about the old stuff that had traditionally worked too. So mailers and door knocking and cold calling and all that stuff. It's like there's just that many more things that we have to do now. Open houses, all that stuff. Yeah.
And that's where I draw on my previous experience. Prior to 2019. There wasn't a lot of this. No. So, a lot of my experience was 2009, 2019. Nest Seekers prior to 2011 was really on the cusp of coming up. They broke through with $1 Million Listing. Mm-hmm. So $1 Million Listing gave me the opportunity to be able to see this is where this industry is trending.
Right.
Like the Bravo TV show.
Right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so, and they did a lot of casting from that office, right, from Nest Seekers. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that kind of, you saw firsthand early on, like, oh, this real estate's going to go, not viral, quote unquote, because back then going viral was a little different, but like, it's going to be like an on-air camera in your face type of business. It's not going to be
it's like restaurants. Like there's so many restaurant shows that are similar to that, or DIY shows.
Exactly.
There's certain industries that lend themselves because it is interesting.
It is. It's interesting, and like being a realtor's, it's like sexy. You know what I mean? Hey, look at this house. Look at this $1 million listing, and you get to show it off.
It's not sexy.
Mortgages, bro. Finance.
The least sexy thing.
Whack. It doesn't look cool at all. Like, what are you going to do? Watch me type up somebody's prequal and like look at numbers? No, you want to go see a house that you can't afford. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So it's like $1 million listings. You saw that early on. You were like in it. And then you come, fast forward 10 years. You're like, oh, I know. Yeah, this shit. I've been dealing with this for years. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's, realtors love to be the main attention.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
Especially if you like to do that, you love to be on camera, this is the right industry for you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. 100%.
And there's always characters too in real estate.
Yeah.
Same. Well, not as much with brokers, but or mortgage brokers, but real estate, restaurants, contractors, all the things that the TV shows are, popular with.
I should be a realtor and I should have a TV show because it would be viral. It would be the most popular TV show on
This guy
television.
thinks a lot of himself.
I do. Yeah.
In a different universe, he does that.
Yeah, in a different universe, I do it. See, Rory?
Yeah.
Ravi believes in me. Ravi also said, when he walked in, he said Mike can take a silverback gorilla solo. He said he doesn't need 100 men. You hear that, Rory?
You're putting that out in the universe too.
I am.
This week.
Oh, it's too good. Anyway, circle back to Ravi here. So what do you got coming up? Is there anything exciting in the works here you got going on? Because you're always working on something. I know you have something here.
Yeah, so some listings coming up.
Okay.
Yeah, some conversations that I'm having that are leading to somewhere. A lot of what I'm doing right now is setting up the next.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 3 main lead generation methods.
Yeah.
One of them is I'm doing mailers.
Okay.
So I'm getting a lot of responses on mailers right now.
Okay. And how do you get those responses? How are you measuring that?
So I'm recording it.
Okay.
So I'm mailing to neighborhoods specifically.
Uh-huh.
And they're high turnover rate neighborhoods.
Right.
Say it's a neighborhood of 47 homes. I'll mail it out to that neighborhood. I'll record when I mail it out. I'll record when I get responses from that neighborhood.
That's my question. How are you getting response? People calling in and showing interest in the flyer, like specifically, like, hey, I got this flyer and I'm calling you. Like that's
So
okay, cool.
It's a letter, and in the letter, it says if you're interested in selling your home, contact me at my number.
Right. Okay. Cool. So literally, they're directly responding to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And then from there, I can gauge their level of interest in selling their home. I have a couple appointments coming up.
Cool.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
Good, dude. That's killer.
So I'm saying that's an old school method,
That works.
but it works. Especially in the right neighborhood, like a high turnover neighborhood or a neighborhood that might have been built 25 years ago, where there was a lot of people who bought and are now aging out of that neighborhood and wanting to downsize. You pick the right place, that could totally work.
I think, and it just goes to show it though too. Like he's the perfect example of somebody that does everything. You know what I mean? He does social media. He does the open houses. He does the first time home buyer seminars. He sends out the mailers, and it's like, this is what is starting to pay off. And then it's just gonna compound from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you hope, right?
And Ravi's gonna be calling me twice a week, going, "Yeah, I got a new pre-call for you." I'm gonna go, "Great, this sounds amazing."
Yeah, so this letter, it's called the Golden Letter.
Okay.
Okay.
And
are you gonna give away some industry secrets here? Just be careful,
And there are some steps, but the main thing is you hand address everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, when somebody gets this letter, they see that it's hand addressed, and they open it and they actually read it.
Right. Yep. Yeah, because if it's just printed on it, it says the Witzek family or current resident, that's going right in the trash.
Yeah, you put a real stamp on it, so it's not a printed stamp.
Sure.
on
Yep.
it. And it's the small things like that that make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of it is, I just want them to read it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like if I got a letter in the mail and it was handwritten to me, I'd be like, "Oh, whoa, what is this?" Like I would 100% open it. Whereas if I got something that was like junk mail, like you're saying, it makes so much sense. I just toss it. So yeah, it never even makes so much sense. Never even thought about it. Yeah. Very interesting.
Mail is like a thing it's like a piece of paper that you put into an envelope. And you put a stamp on it. Do you know what mail is?
No, I've never heard of it.
It's different than email. It precedes emails.
Yeah.
It's way before text messages.
Okay, boomer. Anyway. Yeah. So you've been doing the mailer. You've been getting some calls back from that and potential listings and everything. So that's great.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I'm getting calls from family friends now.
Yep.
you know, I'm finally starting to get to that point where it's like, okay, let's have a conversation about what you're working on.
Yeah. Ravi's in real estate. Like, hey, we know he's a realtor now. That's good. No, that all sounds great. I mean, is there anything else you want to touch on or talk about?
Yeah, so it's really the best way to build a business is it's old school methods of getting in front of people.
Yeah.
So the 3 methods that I like to use are those letters, number 1, open houses, and then also in-person events and seminars.
Yep.
Mike and I hosted a first-time free home buyer seminar recently.
Yep.
We had some great attention. Going forward, we're going to continue to do these events.
Yep. Yeah. Just getting people engaged, even if it's just a couple, you just don't know who's going to be the next person who buys, or, you know, maybe they don't buy, but they tell their friend, oh, I had this really cool experience, and, you know, these guys are cool.
Yeah.
You know,
100%. So yeah, we actually have some things in the works right now too that we're planning on doing, hosting some events and kicking off Ravi's career here in real estate. So we'll see. Hopefully that'll be out soon. I don't know.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. There you go. Perfect. I'll cut that clip out. But other than that, no, I mean, I don't have any. Do you have any other questions you want to talk about?
no, I think you have a really cool, compelling background and story, and certainly more exciting than anything I ever did when I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
But no, I'm glad that we got to hear that background. It's really cool.
And thanks so much for coming on and sharing with us, dude. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, guys. It was great to be here.
Yeah, and honoring your father's career, and, you know, taking that on and taking it to the next level, and that's a very cool way to honor him. So.
I'm excited.
And just the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. It really
absolutely.
is.
You guys are young.
Ravi,
Just the
Ravi
beginning.
got cooking up. All right.
All right. Well, happy
ya.
Friday, happy hour, and socials.
Oh yeah. Drop
We'll tag you, but
Yeah, so R. Gulivindala on Instagram, Ravi Gulivindala Facebook, LinkedIn.
Perfect.
cool. Yeah, we'll get you tagged up. So
Tagged up, baby. All right.
teed up.
Later.
All right, later.